Well, hey guys, I want to talk about should you start an accounting firm? Maybe you've been dreaming about starting an accounting firm, and then I want to give a call out to this new YouTuber that I found. So there's a new YouTuber in the accountant and bookkeeping space named Logan Graf, right? Logan Graf. And after watching his video called Should You Start an Accounting Firm, I really wanted to share this with my little audience. I just have a small audience at 30,000 subscribers here, because even though his video was pretty brief, his video had some nuggets of gold in them that I really think everybody dreaming about starting an accounting firm should be thinking about. So I want to share these gold nuggets that I heard in Logan Graf's video. And I think he dropped these on his viewers, and they're super inspiring. And I know that if you're an aspiring bookkeeper, a CPA, accountant, or even a tax professional, no matter what you're trying to do, I think you need to hear this. And I want to expand a little bit on what he shared, because he shared some points about when he started his own CPA firm, what it was like. Now, what Logan brought up were insights that only insiders of the startup game would really understand. They were some realities about starting your own accounting firm that outsiders cannot possibly fathom. Like, you don't get this until you start. And it's something that you only experience when you push your canoe out into the river and actually start your business and navigate these treacherous and deceptive waters of entrepreneurship. Now, I have a little bit of a fantasy here where millions of people watch my YouTube videos and then they go out to start their own businesses, they start their own accounting firms, and then their lives and their bank accounts, their communities and families are all transformed for the better because of one of my videos, and that it might have equipped them with something useful. Now, I know it's a little bit self-centered to be all worried about that or excited about that, and it probably means that I have a little bit of main character syndrome. But if you find this content useful, that fantasy is one of the desires that God put in my heart that causes me to continue making YouTube videos and even work with accountants. Because let me be frank, I have all these construction companies and other businesses. I love working with accountants, but you guys aren't easy. Like, you guys make us really good because you're accountants. So if this is helpful, please like and subscribe to this channel. And I'm up over a little over 30,000 subscribers at the moment, and I'd love you to come along these journeys with us. I'm going to be interviewing more and more entrepreneurs and creating more content here. But there are specific struggles and difficulties that you're going to face as you start your own business, and they might surprise you. And if you let it, these difficulties might completely capsize your startup. But if you can persist and succeed, this is an amazing way to become a millionaire. Logan brings up some of these specific struggles and difficulties, and I think it's a little bit like taking punches in a boxing match. And there is a guy named Iron Mike Tyson who famously said that everyone has a plan until they get hit. And I think that's true in entrepreneurship and a lot of things. And just imagine truly getting hit by Mike Tyson. What he was describing was a little bit about the surprise that a Mike Tyson punch would actually deliver. You see, entrepreneurship punches different than just about any other job that you're going to have. Like a typical W-2 job, the punches are different. So Logan describes 6 ways that he struggled really quickly in this little video. It's actually a short video. And the 6th little thing that he shares is one that you got to stay around for, because it really highlights the difference between the typical punches an employee takes versus the types of punches you take when you're a business owner. So stick around to the last one if that's good enough bait. So here's the struggles and punches that Logan brought up in his video and some of the things that I want to add to them. So here's the first one, number 1.
But it hasn't come without its challenges. I think about how to improve my firm nonstop.
Now, did you hear that? Now, I could summarize it, it's that a major punch or challenge a business owner faces is that their mind will be filled with a productive paranoia that easily seeps into every moment of your day. And it's a major punch that normal people struggle to handle. I know I have this struggle, where my productive paranoia about my business, about how to improve my business, how I can work and get better, or how we're doing, it can consume me. If I neglect my thought discipline and forget to put the boundaries in place, the thoughts about my business would absolutely engulf me. It can consume me in a negative way with worry or obsession, but it can also consume me in a productive way because I love what I do. I genuinely feel like I'm playing when I'm working. My dopamine fires off like crazy when I'm in my business working and when I'm working on my business. It's almost like a video game to me. And just like anything else that fires off the dopamine receptors, it has a tendency to creep into every corner of your thought life. And with smartphone notifications and the deceptive nature of it being a good thing to work on your business, it can be a tricky punch to take. Now, Logan's point here is so true. And besides the worry about the bad stuff, the business can steal me away from the things that really matter in life. Taking my attention and my thought life away from more important things like relationship with God, my relationship with my wife, my relationship with my kids, partaking in my community and my church, and it could leave me with regrets if I'm not careful. Now, I've found I need to discipline myself to shut things off after closing time, to learn how to use the iPhone Do Not Disturb features and develop a trust, which is probably the biggest thing. I have a trust that I don't have to worry. Which for me is that as long as I do my part, I don't have to worry. I'll do my part, and God will do what He does and not leave me hanging. So you got to be ready for this punch. You're going to face it. Don't let it knock you out, and know that you just need to have a plan for it and embrace it. And that was the first punch that I heard Logan share. Now here's on to number 2. Take a listen to this one. I think this was powerful.
I struggled with saying no to work, causing me to work more than I want.
So he struggled to say no to work, causing him to work more than he wants, right? Most normal punches are easy because being busy at work means you're fine in a typical business if you're kind of a typical employee. That we all know that that's kind of false, but being busy is not the goal. Entrepreneurs need to be way better than busy. For them, only productive, high margin work is worth the time. Good is the enemy of great in the service business. That's probably true for every business, but making yourself busy by saying yes to too many things is a huge problem. There's certainly a time to bust your butt and work harder than anyone else you know. But did you notice what Logan said there? It caused him to work harder than he wanted. If you're gonna start your own accounting firm, you'll need to decide on what kind of lifestyle you want in terms of activity and work, and then build a system and plan around it. I talk with so many accountants that never sit down and create a simple plan about what kind of income, activity, and magnitude of business that they want to create. Logan has priorities here, and I think he's highlighting something that's easy to glance over. This is truly easy to miss. You should take some time and actually define what aspirations you have. Like, how many clients do you actually want? What will you do for them each month? And what does that total workload look like for that firm? Like, what kind of systems and calories and money do you need? And then, what type of a team do you need and want to build around you to help you create that? If you're not careful, you'll succeed in the wrong thing, and you'll create more work than you actually want. And I think Jason's maturity and wisdom shows through on this quick point that he made. Now let's look at the third punch that Logan describes here. So listen up.
I dealt with severe anxiety during the first year of ownership, and I still struggle with anxiety on occasion.
So number 3, he dealt with severe anxiety. Anxiety and fear are monsters that can easily enter into the life of a business owner or a startup or an entrepreneur. I think Logan is quick to mention this, and he goes through it pretty fast, but it's worth talking about a little bit more. Anxiety is hard, especially for a business owner. Worry and fear should probably exist to an extent in anybody trying to start their own business. You should be concerned about where your next meal and mortgage payment is going to come from for you and your family and your staff. And I'd add, I think you're a fool if you don't have a bit of fear in you as you move forward. But if you plan right and stick to the right behaviors, the core prime behaviors, you can trust that you're going to have the right thing in place. If you have good prime behaviors and you're working a good business plan and you're putting in the work on the right plan, you just need to focus on 2 additional things. First, you need to persist. Core behaviors in the right magnitude will create new sales. It's like fishing. If you head to where the fish are and you make enough casts with the right lures often enough, you're gonna make a catch for sure. So the first thing to push through anxiety is to have a plan, some prime behaviors that you know you have to do, and put in enough of them to create bites. You have to persist through that. Persist in your front-end activity, in your sales and execution and prospecting. Then, the second thing is to continuously improve. So you have to persist, and then you have to continuously improve. You cannot just hit your head over and over and over on the same things. You have to make adaptations and change. You'll need to persist in your prime activities, but you also need to learn when to switch fishing spots, when to change up your lure and try for various species to keep you fed. I don't think that there's a better analogy to entrepreneurship than fishing, hunting, or farming. So yes, if you're not ready to face some anxiety, to dispatch that anxiety and find peace in kind of the core things, Logan's punch in the face is real. That anxiety thing is real. It is hard. And you gotta be ready for it. But if you brace for it, you have a plan for it, you probably create some financial margin in your life, and you wisely get counsel before you launch this business, or as you're going, you make these continuous improvement adaptations and seek wisdom and get perspective, you're gonna be all right. So now I wanna go to this 4th punch that Logan faced real quick here. Let's listen up.
I let people down.
So that one was quick, but he shares that he let people down. Every time Logan went through one of these, they were so fast in this video. I'm like, oh dude, those are huge because they're real. This one is quick, but let's be real. Everyone who does business is going to make mistakes. If you help enough people, you're going to drop the ball and fail. And failure in this entrepreneurship thing, where it's your business, your team, your service, it tastes way different than when you have a mistake for another company that you've worked for. There is a gut punch that occurs, and it's really painful. And it's because people are gonna choose to work with you. They buy you, they like you. In fact, you're gonna like your customers. Your customers, at least for a moment, will believe in you. And then when you drop the ball or something happens and you let them down, it can feel absolutely soul crushing when it happens. When I wake up in the morning, in fact, this kind of haunts me all the time. We do a lot of work here. I got a little team of 8, and we crank out, between 5 and 20 websites a month. When I wake up in the morning, my immediate paranoia is about whether or not there's a customer that we've accidentally let down in that moment. I end up opening up my email every morning the second I wake up, which is a bad behavior, and I worry about failures. Even though all but a handful of our customers love us, it's those small ones that really eat at you because it's you. Letting people down feels super personal when you're the business owner. It can eat at you. But that weight that you feel, it's also important to know that anyone going out into the public to do something hard and special, if you're gonna actually run a good business, you're gonna have some small amounts of failure. And you're gonna have instances where you let people down. Failure and letting people down is only a true negative thing in your business if you fail to learn from it. Every failure we've had here at FeedbackWrench, which I can count on 2 hands amongst the hundreds of customers that we've had, just to let you know, we don't usually fail, has led to tremendous change. It leads to wisdom. It teaches you. It helps you improve your processes. It shows you where you fail, and if you learn from it, you're gonna be good. So be prepared to let some people down on accident. As you scale and as you try and do good, hard things, you're gonna miss the mark with people. Sometimes it's just a perceived thing where you didn't communicate well, and sometimes people are unfair to you, but sometimes you just drop it. And there can be pain, and there can be hurt that you're gonna experience with that, especially when you're getting started. So if you brace for it, you're gonna be ready. But I think what Logan brought up there is super wise. Now, on to the 5th struggle and punch that you need to be ready for when you're starting your own firm that Logan brings up.
I let people down. I wear all the hats and do everything. Am I listing more negatives than positives?
All right, so did you hear that? He says he wears all the hats and he has to do everything. Now, we all hear this while you watch videos that you need to hire other people and get them empowered, but being responsible for everything can be a punch that really rattles you. Even if you kind of intellectually prepare for it, having to do the juggling is difficult. And we've all heard about it, right? We watch all these gurus on YouTube, you read books, you know that you're supposed, but this is huge. You're the accountant, the salesperson, the networking guy, the payroll person, the accounts payable, accounts receivable. You buy the software, set up the email, you do the marketing, you run the meetings, you put in CRM notes, you do the production work, and oh yeah, then you actually have to prospect and sell. And somewhere in there, you got to get reviews and ask for reviews and send the link and build client relationships and then do some bookkeeping and accounting and tax planning. Wearing lots of hats is part of being a business owner. And I want to prepare you for the bigger punches in this onslaught. At the end of the day, you need to make sales, which are the promises that you've made to clients. And then you need to deliver on those sales and those promises. The most important thing you can do is prospect, market, and sell, and then obsessively deliver above expectations. All other activity that pulls you away from those two things is a non-essential activity. It might be good to have, but it is not the thing that makes your plane fly. If you think about a business, you have the engines are sales and marketing or front-end activity to get people to take a step with you. And then the wings and the fuselage and all of that is operations or actually doing it. Those are the only two things that are necessary outside of a pilot. Everything else you put in that starts to weigh it down and it's non-essential. Shoot, I'd even say your own accounting as an accountant doesn't matter in proportion to getting sales and doing your client's work. So at the end of the day, remember that the two primary hats that you need to preoccupy yourself with, so I'm giving you the answer here. In the beginning and as you're growing, it's prospecting or sales along with producing the client's work, making promises and following through on them. Sales and production, sales and fulfillment. Those are the two number one things. And then whenever you're not fulfilling, you're working on your sales and prospecting. Now let's go to the sixth thing that Logan brought up because I thought it was just fantastic. And it's the thing that made me want to create this video. When he said this, my wife and I were like, yeah. So let's take a listen here.
When I was a young little CPA, I only had to focus on preparing tax returns or reconciling bank statements. The level of responsibility was very little compared to what it is today. For example, when I was an employee, my mental capacity to process the world around me wasn't maxed out from work. I could easily plan date nights, trips, hangouts with friends. Thinking about doing life outside of work was not a chore. But now because I'm thinking about all the things all the time, it's harder for me to plan fun things to do because I just want my mind to take a break from all the decision making. It's never-ending decision.
So he said his mental capacity is taxed and maxed. This resonates so much with me. In other words, you're going to be an executive, which means that to an extent, you need to have the fortitude to analyze, find understanding, and make decisions. You're going to analyze, develop an understanding, and make decisions. You are the executive. To a degree, there's no roadmap or plan for you to follow as an executive, to a degree, which means that you're going to be developing on your own, deciding on pricing, scope of work, marketing choices, hiring, firing, compensation structures, office space, internet speeds, computers, software, and then processes. Just processes alone on your business means that you're going to need to be ready to be an executive. You have to make decisions, and making decisions and weighing them and making sure that they're wise, and then, deciding when do I second guess myself, when do I stick to my decision versus change. That is hard. And this is not easy. I've overheard my team saying things. I got a little team of 8 of us. I don't know how Rob and Heather can do it. Imagine never being able to shut this off. And that's just part of it. But this executive, you can get it gets tiring trying to make decisions. This is something you just need to prepare for. and create some discipline around. Now, you might just build a little bit of a side gig. That's one type of business, rather than really trying to grow and build a significant firm. But even if you're going to do it as a side gig, where you might not think, oh, I have to be an executive, a CEO, these decisions are part of the game. Like, even if you're just a QuickBooks person on the side, you're going to have to be ready to make lots of decisions, and it can get tiring. So I just tell you what, I want to conclude here. If you're thinking about starting your own accounting firm or your own bookkeeping firm, you should really get ready to take these punches, because they are totally true. Now, I highly recommend that you go subscribe to Logan Graf's YouTube channel. I think this guy is fantastic. I'm eager to hear more of him. Good luck. God bless. If you need help with marketing, websites, consulting, I have a course. It's only $500. It'll teach you how to do this really well. But otherwise, grow every day, get better every day. Super thankful that I got an opportunity to connect with you.